and welcome to the Blessed Michael McGivney Pilgrimage Center's presentation, Precious in My Eyes, the Church's Ministry to Suffering Christians. Today's program is a complement to the McGivney Center's exhibition, Among the Persecuted and Displaced, photographs from Iraq and Nigeria. The exhibit continues through September 7th, 2025, and we invite you to visit and to become more informed about the conditions for people who hold the Christian faith in these two countries and beyond. Precious in My Eyes comes from the Bible's book of Isaiah, chapter 43, and refers to God's great love for every person. It confirms that all people have innate dignity and are valued by God. In the Gospel of John, chapter 3, we are told that God so loved the world and each person in the world that he sacrificed his Son, Jesus, for our redemption. Understanding that we are precious in God's eyes should inform how we view ourselves and each other, recognizing worth in everyone and showing respect and Christian love for all. Christian oppression and persecution are real. In the United States, we are largely deficient in understanding the nature and the extent of the suffering that Christians face elsewhere in the world, particularly in the region where Christianity was born, such as in Iraq, and where it is so deeply embraced and practiced with fervor, like Nigeria. Today, I'm pleased to welcome two priests, Father John Ferdinand from the Diocese of Yola in western Nigeria, and Father Salar Kajo of the Chaldean Catholic Diocese of Alqosh in Iraq. Both priests are studying at Franciscan University of Steubenville. Father Salar is a PhD candidate in theology, and Father John is a graduate student at the Pontifical Institute. Also with us is Stephen Rasha, director of the university's Institute for Catholic Humanitarian Service. For the past decade, Steve has worked in Iraq and Nigeria to support the Christian faithful in both countries. An attorney in international law, he has partnered with the Knights of Columbus and other aid organizations to advocate for people who have lost homes, livelihoods, and even life due to war, insurgency, or willful persecution. Steve's photos comprise the exhibit mentioned earlier, some of which you'll see momentarily. I'll let Steve give more introduction to his work and his relationships with Father Salar and Father John. What I hope that the audience will take away from today's session is a better awareness of the suffering people in Nigeria, Iraq, and many other regions in the world, as well as God's love for them, particularly through the ministry of these priests and the church at large. I hope that you too will realize that though separated by space, we are united in faith. And those who suffer deserve our prayers. They will benefit them, as will our advocacy and our charitable outreach. We'll welcome your questions at the end of the presentation, but to begin, please welcome Steve Rasha.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you again to the Knights of Columbus for this program today, and also for the exhibit. Again, for our viewers and for the people here, if you've not yet seen the exhibit, we encourage you to come here to the McGivney Center. The exhibit will run through September, and we encourage you to come. I'm very pleased to have the two priests here with us today. You know, we have the photographs that tell one story, and today we'll have the priests themselves to provide the commentary for what this actually meant and how this actually impacted them on the ground. I'm very pleased to have them with us. We'll begin today, first with Father Salar Kajo. Right here to my left. Brief history. So during the ISIS war, Father Salar and I worked together in northern Nineveh both during the time of the war and the time of the rehabilitation afterwards, restoring the Christian towns as they were returned, trying to help return the people to these towns. Much of this work was supported by the Knights of Columbus. And so the history there of the Knights of Columbus and Father Salar and some of these pictures we'll go through is a long one. I have a particular memory still of handing out food baskets with the Knights of Columbus logo from the back of the trailer in Alqosh to all of the people there. So with that, we'll begin. Father Salar is he's currently a PhD student in theology at the Franciscan University of Steubenville, but he's already a doctor of theology from Rome. Excuse me, a doctor of canon law from Rome. And so he's here now in the U.S. Studying. And amongst other things here, he is also the student chaplain for the student here that will begin the discussion of some things we're going on. If you want to tell, before we begin just a minute or so to speak to the audience here about your experience with the Knights of Columbus.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. First of all, I really want to thank Knights of Columbus for having us here for this presentation and their sensibility to our situation in Iraq, in Nigeria, and everywhere that the Christians are persecuted. And through them also, thanks to Steve, my friend, and yeah, he helped a lot in Iraq, as he mentioned. And just having this presentation and having all this collection of pictures, it means for us, I was telling Father Ferdinand before, it means to us that you are helping us to keep and to protect these very important times of history that we have during these years. Because, you know, many times there are manipulation of the history and the details of the history, and maybe the power and the money, they can change many details. But through you and through all this work that you are doing, I think you are helping us to protect and to keep these details of our history for the next future, and for the also long future, that when we want to exhibit what is the situation that made Christian in Iraq and Nigeria and other places strong, it was through these times and through these pictures and through this feeling that you have toward us, and what made also the story of Christians to, for example, like Iraq, to be empty from Christians. We don't hope, but this is going, if there is persecution, it's continue, no? So it's also through you that you will show the world what is happening. So thank you very much, really, for Knights of Columbus and in what they did on the field during ISIS and also after ISIS in distributing food and many medical needs, and also after ISIS rebuilding entire villages like Karamlesh, and also in Alqosh many projects in Toluskov where I served as a parish priest, and also I can't not remember the McGivney house in Erbil and many other projects. So thank you very much, and thank you for having us here.
So we'll begin with this picture here. I'll just give the setting and then let Father explain more of it. So this is still in the middle of the ISIS war. And what's happening here is that a town elder from this particular town in Batnaya, he's passed away in the town that, in the IDP center where he was living over towards Erbil. and or in another town that was in a safe area. And so his family and the elder men of the town have rushed out to this area that's in close proximity to the front to bury him quickly and then return. So we'll let Father, if you can explain to us, when you see this picture, what's happening here and what do you recall from this?
Oh, I have many memories on this picture. I don't know if you recognize me. I am there as a priest praying, but it was very short prayer because the village of Batnaya was just liberated from ISIS. So, and the will of the elder man was to bury him in his village. So the people, they said, Father, we want you to go, because it is like it is liturgical, no, and canonical, that we have to pray on the died man. So, and many roads were closed, and we had to take the very long road. And Steve Rush was visiting me that time, and I said, Steve, I have to go because I have this funeral. He said, okay, I will come with you. I said, Steve, no, because it is very dangerous for you, and also you are American, and you know all these complications. He said, Father, I am coming with you because we are friends and we are working together in the same project. I said, okay. So we went there, and it really was danger because still the village and also the cemetery wasn't cleared from the bombs and from all the things of ISIS. So yeah, 5 minutes, it took 5 minutes to pray, and we were all surrounded by I think they are Peshmerga, you know?
Yeah.
The forces at that time with guns, and we were there and listening the fighting between ISIS and the Iraqi forces still, because the liberation was running. So yeah, and it was very sad time, because for the people there around me from the village, it was the first time seeing their village destroyed, their houses destroyed, but they couldn't go inside their houses, inside their villages, because it was still full of bombs, and we didn't know what is there. Yeah.
Yeah. So an interesting thing as well in this photograph, a tragic thing you see is the cemetery is all destroyed. That's in part from the fighting, but it's also in part from looting. Yeah. When ISIS came into the towns, the way that the corpses are buried, they're in this entombed state, and so ISIS would go through, they'd pilfer all of the graves, hoping to find something of value in there. So not only is the town blown up, but the cemetery itself has been desecrated. Yeah. And if you look to Father Salar's right, to his right, to the left of the photograph, you see a man there. He's got a gun slung over his shoulder, and he's saying, hurry up, because you can hear the shooting in the next town over, and it's increasing. And this fellow here is basically telling everybody, we need to move along here. Yeah. So this is, yeah. So let me go the other direction here. All right, so here things start to turn around a little bit. This is during Holy Week of 2017. It's Palm Sunday, as you can probably tell. This is in a town next door to the town where that last photograph was taken. And so the young people are getting ready for the procession for Palm Sunday, the first Palm Sunday, first Holy Week back in their town after 3 years that ISIS has controlled the town. So Father, can you walk us through this one?
Yeah, so I was appointed as parish priest in this village, Toloskov, in the north of Nineveh. So, as Steve mentioned, it is the first time celebrating the Palm Sunday in Toloskov after ISIS. So the people, they were still replaced in the villages around, especially in Erbil and Duhok in the north of Iraq. So when I announced that we will celebrate the Holy Week in Toloskov, all these people, they came these days just to stay in the church and to celebrate this. It was a sign, very big sign of hope for them that we will go back to our villages after 3 or 4 years. So yeah, the people, they were very happy. And if you were there in that time, Steve was there, if you see that how much they were happy, just singing and dancing, you see that you will say that, oh, these people, I don't think they suffered what they had during 3 years, but the joy here, I think it was the spiritual and from their faith, no? Because as I have to mention that the people was asking us, Father, don't start rebuilding our houses, but start rebuild the house of God, which is the church. Because our plan was to start with their houses. This is important for building the family, building the society. But they said, yes, we understand it, but first of all, we have to start with the house of God. And yeah, if many other time we can show how this church became after rebuilding it. So yeah, it is time of joy for us here, just starting the first step to go back to our villages.
So now here's another one. This is an even happier occasion, perhaps. Yeah. So we have here a sister from the Chaldean Daughters of Mary. This is Sister Tiba, and she's setting out the altar cloth for the papal altar at the papal mass of Pope Francis at the soccer stadium, the National Soccer Stadium in Erbil. It was his last mass of his trip, and there are actually artifacts from that visit that are part of the exhibit and elsewhere here in the wonderful museum that the Knights have here. So this is Sister Tiba, and I'll let Father tell you her story.
So this picture, yeah, touched me a lot. First, Steve sent it to me, and yesterday I saw it in the collection of the pictures. Sister Tiba, she works in the orphanage in my village back home, Alqosh, and yeah. So she, in this picture, I can say there's three things, three emotions, or 3 times that we can see here. First, it was a couple years after ISIS being defeated. So the Christians still have the pain and the feeling of the loss that they had. And also the visit of Pope was a point of joy, a point of really changing the situation of Iraqi Christians in Iraq and in the Middle East and also in the world. The third point, it was regaining the trust in ourselves, like we are not neglected, and also gaining the trust in the church. So these 3 times, I think what Sister Tiba is presenting here. Really, during this time of ISIS, the church made many efforts to be close to the people, not only in material things, but also spiritual and faithful ways, to explain to them what is the meaning of suffering, how we can connect this to the suffering of Jesus Christ, to be at the end worthy to celebrate his resurrection, and also to have this glory with him, the glory of our actions, the glory of our works, that still we are there and still we are able to forgive the people they did this to us. So yeah, the joy was there. Just to mention something, like we were in Erbil for this mass, and you know, many people coming in the stadium to see the Pope for a long time, for 2-3 hours before the Pope arrives. So we had around us also people from other religion. they were just accusing us or telling bad things, because it was, for us, it was very good and very important time as Christians. So still, the persecution is not only in groups that they present themselves that protecting their religion against Christians, that we don't have anything to do with them, but still in the mentality, still in their culture. So this is important point that we have to deal with. We don't want that these times, the bad times of ISIS, repeat, not only in Iraq, but also in other places as persecution. We need to work on this, culture and education and mentality and all this. So the bridge that we want to do, to build with these people, is a bridge of trust.
Now, Father, one of the things with Sister Tiba and the other sisters there at the orphanage, so during the war, the orphanage is in the town of Alqosh, and it's up on the base of the mountains, and it looks south over the Nineveh Plains down towards Mosul. So little Sister Tiba and the other sisters there literally had a front row seat to the war that was taking place down on the plain in front of them. And oftentimes, the priest, Father Salar, Father Aram, and others, myself when I was there, the sisters would cook meals for us. So we had this small community of people in the middle of the war. And I'm wondering, Father, if you can talk about this sense of community in the time of the war itself.
Yeah, it was this feeling that made us be stronger always. When you feel that all the world is against you, you lost a lot of things. But having this, as Steve mentioned, having these times of community being together, even small community, and we didn't have time to sit and to speak and to party, and no, it was time that we need to eat because we have a lot of to do, also for them and for us. But it was the time that really we had the strength from their telling us that you are doing very well, you are a soldier of Christ, etc. And also us encouraging them with our prayers, and also with telling them that what you are doing for this orphanage and for these people is a very big thing. So really, yeah, we get together always, and it was something like to change from the pessimist situation to optimist.
So thank you, Father.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Father. So as a segue into speaking with Father John Ferdinand, Father John is a parish priest in the Diocese of Yola in northeast Nigeria, one of the primary areas that affected by the Boko Haram violence. So it's the same story, different location. And in the northeast, because of Boko Haram and other religious-based violence against the Christians, there are many, many displaced, permanently displaced Christians, and many of them Catholics. But an interesting thing, how did myself and the Knights of Columbus end up in Nigeria from Iraq? And the entry to that whole story is that Father Salar and I were called to go to the UK and Scotland, I believe it was, in 2016 on an advocacy tour where we toured around and spoke in universities and different churches and all over the place, and it culminated with a mass at the cathedral in London. But as part of that visit, that group was also a group from Nigeria, or from Africa, that included Bishop Kuka. Bishop Kuka, who has been one of the leading voices of the persecuted Christians and Catholics in Nigeria for many, many years. And so Father Salar and I met Bishop Kuka and traveled with him on this roadshow for about 2 weeks, and we were able to critique each other's presentation every night at dinner. We would say, that worked really well, that not so much, try it this way the next time. And so, 2 weeks of traveling with each other, we got to know each other pretty well. And we maintained contact with Bishop Kuka, and then some years later, as the violence, the particular violence against Christians in Nigeria was becoming more and more sustained, then Supreme Knight Carl Anderson, together with Andrew Walther, God rest him, said, you know this bishop in Nigeria, right? I said, you mean Bishop Kuka? I said, yeah. I said, of course, we stay in contact. I said, we would like to see if we can take any of these best practices that we learned through the Knight's support and continued involvement in Iraq. Is there anything we can do to help with the situation in Nigeria? Because we see a lot of similarities. So that was the beginning of the work in Nigeria, and it came through this visit in the UK. Again, you've heard me speak before, it's a universal church, and we see that all the time. So with that as background, Father Ferdinand again comes to us as well, a student at Franciscan University. He's in the Catechetical Institute there. He will be one of the trainers who will train the other catechists when he goes back. And this is a program that is 100% funded by the Knights of Columbus. So with that, Father, we'll let you give a brief introduction, and then we'll speak about some of these photos.
Yeah, I want to I'm so happy and also joyful to be here, especially to the Knight of Columbus for this beautiful opportunity that I've got to share physically, not through pictures, our experiences. And I want to especially also appreciate Dr. Steve Rush here, who has so much experience. I think he's also a soldier. I would call him a soldier in Nigeria because he's so daring, because he has gone to Nigeria and he has gone to so many difficult places. He has seen with his eyes, and he has captured them on the photograph, and he has brought them here. So I want to appreciate him. And I also want to appreciate the Knight of Columbus also, because you have done a lot through him. We didn't see you physically, but we saw you through Steve Rush. Each time he goes to Nigeria, we saw the beautiful effort people are making through him. And also through him also, a lot of people are coming back to life, and life is now becoming more meaningful to him. So I think my presence here is so awesome. And I also thank the organizers of this occasion. Thank you.
So, Father, we start here with a difficult photograph, and it's been one that's been used to show this exhibit around, to increase awareness about the exhibit itself. But this is a woman, a Catholic woman, displaced woman, who's living in a camp that is fully funded by the Diocese of Yola, who was completely blinded in a mortar attack by Boko Haram. This was the common thing for them to use military-grade weapons against defenseless villages. And this particular picture is really emblematic not only of the violence and dislocation, but also still of the trapped dignity that the people are trying to hold on to. So, Father, with this photograph, can you tell the audience here about what is the reality of the displacement and this violence, how it has affected the people and the church?
Yeah, I think being a Christian in Nigeria, one has to pay a price, particularly when you're living in the northern part of Nigeria. This is one of the prices that you have to pay. And this picture here speaks about the pains, the sufferings, and a whole lot that Christians go through. This picture here speaks about a woman who is blind. It doesn't represent only about blindness. It speaks about sorrow in the hearts of so many people, because during the crisis, a lot of Christians have to flee their environment, and while fleeing for their lives, a lot of them died. I mean, someone, you're together with your family, with your children, your wife and husband, and then about the night, you have to run. And on running, some lost their children, some lost their parents, and they couldn't meet again. And so they represent their pain. And also, we had a lot of people also, we had to run. They were sick. Some of them were having some condition, they were under medication, and because they were running, they had to run to the bush, and then they never had medication. And so this particular experience of running, in fact, brought a lot of tragedy in the lives of people, because it left a lot of people becoming disabled. Some have to run, some broke their legs, some their arms, and then some people, because, as I say, they had condition, they have to, like this woman also, they were blind. Some people they were hit by stroke, and so they became handicaps because of this experience. And so it left a lot of people paralyzed with a lot. So this picture speaks about what people are going through and what the situation has left them in. And also this picture speaks about people who became so displaced. They were displaced. I mean, this is the place they call their home. This is my nation. This is where I belong. This is where I need to stay and also flourish. But I cannot flourish. So a lot of people ran away. They were displaced. Thousands of people were displaced. Millions of people were displaced. And so this picture represents the pains and the sadness of people who have run away from their home. Today, a lot of them don't have home. Some of them are living in what we call in camps, or what we have, the internally displaced persons camp, where camps we have. I think this picture speaks about also the present, where I see my bishop also we have a camp that my bishop has also, with the help of Knight of Columbus and other international organizations, he was able to establish a camp where people like this are also being catered for, they are being supported. And so a lot of people are displaced, no home, no place to stay. And so this is their sadness. And also, psychologically, a lot of people are going through trauma, because I know of the experience of one of my priests in our diocese he was kidnapped. You know, when the kidnappers came, they shot at his door and they broke the door, and then they kidnapped him. And so when they took him away, and we thank God, he was released, and then he came back. When he came back, each time he had a loud sound of something, it affects him. So we have a lot of people also who are living with that kind of trauma, of that kind of painful experience of what has happened today. And then the worst part of it is that a lot of them who are still alive, they are going through what we call economic hardship, because a lot of them, they had future, they had homes, they have farmlands, they had businesses they were running, they were doing to sustain themselves. But all of a sudden, their livelihood was taken away from them. And then a lot of them died because of that psychological trauma, because they have built things for themselves, and within a twinkle of an eye, everything just disappeared. And so we still have a lot of people who sit down today and they reflect back about their experience of what they had before, and now they've never had it. So this picture does not only speak about this woman who is blind. There are a lot of people also who are like this woman in their heart. They are blind in their heart because their future has been taken away from them. And so they're helpless. So it's a very bad situation for them.
Now, Father, yesterday we had the opportunity to tour the exhibit, and one of the things in the exhibit that is not a photograph is the desecrated statue of Christ the Redeemer from the church in Bassa, which you know well. Can you talk to the audience about what your feelings are and your memories are to think about what has happened there with this statue and with that situation, what that the lasting impact that all of that has on the people?
Yeah, this experience outside been affecting the people, it has also affected the church, because we had a lot of good churches that was built by the missionaries, a lot of statues, and we have a lot of things that the church had. But when this Boko Haram came, they destroyed churches, destroy rectories, and destroy everything. And I know the priests also had to run also, like every other person, they have to run and leave their homes. And I remember I stayed in almost in the southern part of Adamawa State. I remember I was living in this home of a room and a parlor, and then a lot of priests that were living in the northern part of Adamawa State, they had to run. And there was a moment that we are living, 11 of us just in a room and a parlor, because all their homes and everything were just taken away from them. And again, also, we have a lot of properties and other properties of the church. Everything that the church has built was destroyed. And then we have also some of them going to the churches and also shooting at the tabernacles, thinking that they have some kind of treasury inside. And even the statues, like the one that we have in our that was showcased there also, they came and shot at it, thinking that also maybe there is something also hidden inside. So they destroy all these things. And also, they were not only doing that because they also thought they were trying to look for treasury, but they were thinking that when they do that, they are just grounding the faith. When we destroy that church, when we destroy anything that they hold dear to them, the faith will be gone. And so they did that, and they make sure that we want to make them have no history. And so anything that was related with the church, they want to destroy it. And I think they destroyed so much. And I think all, like in the northern part of Adamawa State, baptism records, everything were just burned down and they were destroyed. So it's a very sample experience even for the priests. And I think a lot of priests also have gone through trauma, because there is also the pain of seeing a parishioners being restless. Also a trauma of you yourself also running away from home, your flock also displaced, and then you are helpless. You cannot help people that you are ministering to them, but now you cannot help them. So it left a lot of priests also traumatized to that, but still building up to see what can happen. Thank you.
So we move from there to, despite all of this violence, despite all of this persecution, the Catholic Church in Nigeria is absolutely booming. And you have here is a confirmation preparation, and this is in Ganye, I believe. Yes, Father?
Yeah.
So in Ganye, and this is Bishop Stephen Mamza, who's getting the confirmands ready the night before. And before we begin talking about this issue of the growing church, this bishop and almost all of the priests of his age there in northeast Nigeria would have had the faith brought to them by Irish Augustinian fathers. And of course, we all know we now have an Augustinian father as Pope Leo. And so, Father, if you could speak to us, what has been the reaction in Nigeria, especially your part of Nigeria, where the faith came from the Augustinian fathers? What has been the reaction to this new pope, and how does it make you all feel?
Thank you, Rosh. The experience has been this: everything has been destroyed. And I think the options that were just available for Christians in the northern part of Nigeria was either to run, to fight back, or their faith. But I think they responded very well. They responded very well by choosing their faith instead of running away. And instead of the faith to vanish, the faith is growing. And I want to say thanks to the Augustinian fathers. They did so wonderfully well, because I think the faith that they have planted, it is a solid faith, because it was a faith that lasted and made people to kind of get people the courage and the resiliency that despite we have lost everything, but we are going to choose our faith over everything. And our reaction is so back home is so a wonderful one to see, we are also part of this, because the Augustinians have done this to us, and then we have seen the Augustinian, one of them becoming a pope, and I think the pope also has some kind of connection with Nigeria, because I know when he was the superior of the Augustinians, I think he visited Nigeria more than one time. He was in Nigeria, and I think he also is somehow maybe also aware of the present situation that is going on in Nigeria. But I think the Augustinians did so well. They planted the faith so beautifully, and we can see from the picture Yeah, because instead of, you can see the picture is speaking about, these are young children. These are young men. These are the future of the church. There are no older people that will say, oh, the church is finished. But this picture speaks about a future, that the Nigerian church is a futuristic church, where we have the youth ready, willing, and ready for the faith. And also, I think this is, we succeeded in that because, as I said, the missionary activities of the Augustinians, and also the type of priests that we have, together with this bishop. This bishop, I think, is a strong man. He's a strong man. He is my bishop because I've seen he is leading an army of priests that are not ready to back up, because, I mean, the presence of the priest really, really supported the people, because the bishop, the priest, no one ran away. They were there. And so the presence of the priests served as a source of comfort for the people, and also a source of encouragement for the people. Since the priests are not running, then why will they run away? I have one experience working in a parish where we were attacked. And maybe I was lucky, but it was a sad one, but my co-pastor was home. I traveled. And so when the attackers came and then they invaded our home, and everyone that was living around our location, everyone was able to run away, except our security guard, who was macheted, and then after some time he died. But what happened at that moment spoke to me so loud. Immediately after that happened, everyone that was living in our own location ran away. And so they left only myself and my co-pastor, and then the reverend sisters who are managing hospital and school there. And so everybody ran away. So when the people ran away and they discover, oh, the priests and the sisters are not running away. And so that spoke to them and said, oh, why should we run away if the priests and the sisters are not running away? So they found themselves in some kind of group that we call vigilante group. So they say, oh, some youth came together and form a team. We are going to protect our priests and the reverend sisters because they are not running away, so why should we run away? And I think that effort and that resiliency of the priests working in Nigeria, championed by the bishop, gave people a lot of support and courage, and then that is also one of the foundations on which the faith is also growing. Yeah.
Now, Father, this photo that we're looking at here, this is a very common occurrence now in Nigeria. In Catholic areas, this is what you will see on Confirmation Sunday, correct? This
yes.
These large numbers of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's so awesome that almost every year the bishop gets to confirm about 300, 400, 500 candidates for confirmation every year. And basically they are youths and also parents being confirmed, being wedded, because, I mean, when the bishop comes, he does a lot of confirmation and also a lot of wedding. Seeing people, you know, we have also a little problem of polygamy in Nigeria, but with this that happened, also encourage a lot of people to also get themselves to the church and get themselves wedded in the church. So each time the bishop comes, you know, he performs like 20, 30 weddings. The last parish I worked before coming last year, January. I remember before coming here, the bishop came and then he got about 19 couples got wedded, and about 200 candidates were confirmed, basically youths. And that is what happened all over the diocese. Each year you get a lot of youths being confirmed, and then the church is growing every day. And so it's beautiful, it's very futuristic to see that the youth, parents are also, despite whatever they have lost, yet they still trust in their faith.
And this is not a cathedral. This is just one of the parish churches. So multiply this by 100 in any diocese, yes. and that's what you see going on. So all of this, all of these new confirmands raise a need for catechists, and so then we are looking here. So this picture here is a group of catechists actually attending this confirmation. And if you see up in the top right there, you see that's the catechists' office training. when he goes back to Nigeria out of the program that he's in right now at Franciscan, being funded by the Knights of Columbus. So, Father, can you tell us a little bit about the importance of catechism and developing these capabilities for the Church?
Our faith has been, our properties, our homes have been taken away, but our faith has not been taken away. I think that's what's so beautiful. The faith has not been taken away. We have lost everything, but the faith has not been lost. And this picture speaks about the strength. Yes, we have lost a lot. Like, we have few persons who, because of the intense persecution, have renounced their faith. They have denied their faith because they are tired of running. And so they have denied their faith, but the number is so little. And then we have discovered also we have strength. And one of the strength we have is the fact that we have numbers. Christians are increasing every day. We have Christians being baptized, confirmed, people get wedded in the church. And so it's one of our strengths. And we also discovered that one of our strengths also is the idea of the fact that we have manpower. We have a lot of young people who want to serve in the church, want to help in teaching about the faith. Yeah, here, when you look at this picture, I think you will discover that is some kind of difference in the uniform they wear. The two persons, the other person at the extreme end, left end, and the other person at the extreme right end. You will discover they have a different soutane they wear. These two persons, they are trained catechists. They are trained in the diocesan school where they are given certificate because they have received training. And then the other ones in the middle, you see, they have not received a formal training. But they have given themselves that they want to teach. Now, this is only in the parish. Like where I worked, I had a church that is made of 34 churches, and I have 34 persons who are also helping to teach catechism. But I think what happens there, I have 34 churches, but I only have 3 catechists who are trained. And the rest are not trained. And so we have in the diocese, we have, like in my diocese, I know we have over 611 young men and parents who are ready and are willing to teach about the faith. But we discovered that what is lacking is the capacity. The school, they need to be trained. They need to be given formal education. They need to have something that can help them, because if they are not capacity, if they don't have the power, they cannot teach the faith very well. And so that is why we want to, in a very special way, I want to appreciate this partnership of the Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria, the Knights of Columbus, and then the Franciscan University for picking 6 of us from Nigeria. I think 3 of us are already in the university. 2 persons are coming by fall, and then the other person we have not yet, he is also going through difficulty of visa. Yeah, we hope maybe he's going to work with him, but we are here, we are going to be trained, so that when we are trained, then we are going to go back again, we are going to gather these people together so that we can train them, so that they will go become foot soldiers. And I think one of the biggest things about this is that this is not the initiative of a diocese, it is the initiative of the Bishop Conference of Nigeria. And so the program is not going to be restricted in the diocese. It's going to be something that is going to help the entire church. We intend to bring all catechists, all individuals, all over the country. They will come together. We're going to give them a formal training. Because my experience here, I see a lot of laypersons studying theology, and then with their theology, they're able to work as youth ministers, able to work with women, they're able to they receive, certification in degrees in theology. But in Nigeria, it's very difficult to see somebody reading theology. Yeah, so we want to go back now and try to do something like this so that people can come and then they're also educated in a very formal way, so that when they go back, they can engage more. And so we want to appreciate the Knight of Columbus for this beautiful initiative. And I think this initiative is not only an investment in my team, it's an investment in the Nigerian church, and above all, it's an investment in the church at large. And so it's so beautiful. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Father. Well, thanks to both of you, Fathers. We've got some time now for questions from the audience. Peter, if you want to take over on that.
I'd like to offer a question to begin, if I may, and then invite others to do so. One of the things that strikes me is that Father Salar's church goes back to the apostolic times. And Father John's has been more recently evangelized by the missionaries that he mentioned that you shared, especially the Augustinians. But the people that have held the faith for 2 millennia and the people that have held it more recently still hold on to it very strongly, especially, as you said, Father John, they have to pay the price. And it strikes me because here in the West, this type of persecution doesn't compare. I mean, certainly there are problems even in Father McGivney's day that Catholics have faced, but they've never really faced the types of conditions that you do. So the question that I would ask of both of you really is, how is it that the faith is able not just to buoy them, to sustain them, but in your case, Father John, like you've just been sharing, it's burgeoning, it's growing, it's becoming even stronger. What is it about the conditions that you think you would have more people apostate, that would run away, but instead they are embracing the faith even more?
Yeah. Thank you, Peter, for this beautiful question. As I said, you know, one of the secrets about this is the fact that the Augustinians did a good job. Yeah, they did a good job, because if they had not planted a good seed, I think maybe the faith would have been scattered. But I think they have planted so much a good seed there, and also because of the resiliency of the priests. The priests are also involved in that. The priests are not running away, and also the priests are also they're able to be with the people. We are into this together. It is not about the people running or the priest is having a shelter to hide, but he is also identifying himself with the people, encouraging them, providing a lot of stuff for them. Like with my bishop in Yola Diocese, I see him do a lot of beautiful activities because the church is engaged in providing shelter, providing accommodation, also working on schools. And one of the beautiful initiatives that also they had, the bishop did, and I think with the support of other persons, he was able to build a housing for people, where people came and they were resettled, they were giving homes, they were giving lands where they can work. So the church is able to bring back life to people. It's able to also not only just give them the faith, but it's able to provide some kind of hope for them. Because, I mean, when you're able to give them not only the faith, but then you give somebody home, and then you are able to also help him economically and say, okay, you have this, you can support yourself, you have this, you can do. And so that helps them a lot and makes the faith move. And also, I think the people also, they so much trust in their faith. I think they trust in their faith. I think for them, the faith this is the best alternative for them. Because I see a lot of them, instead of converting, or instead of throwing away their faith. And what is so funny that I want to share with you is the fact that you see people running in the bush, but when they run in the bush, they sit down under trees and they're still praying. Imagine somebody is running, and then under the tree in the bush, they come together, they still pray, oh God, protect us as we are running. They had option, either to stay back. If you stay back and say, oh, I'm no longer a Christian, nobody's going to harm you. But they prefer to run, and then in the bush also praying and keep on. It means that there is so much in their heart that they so much, even if the faith is so very difficult for them to understand, but I think there is more trust. They trusted in the faith, and they are ready to give everything for the faith. And I think they are aware of the fact that also that they are ready to pay the price, and that it is also this understanding among the people, especially in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17, where he said, every evil fashion against me shall not prosper. That part of the Bible serves as a source of consolation for them, that, oh, we know we are going through difficult times, but we know God is going to do what? Is going to protect us. So that is one of the secrets that is keeping the faith moving on. Yeah.
And Father Salar, for your answer to that same question.
Yeah, I can say that it is the issue of living faith in these places, because our people, they connect very well the faith and their Christianity as their important identity. So protecting their faith, their Christianity is a matter of to be or not to be. Being there, they have to show and to be, to shine as Christians. There's no other way. There's no other choice, because they know that they will be destroyed totally if they will be a little bit, or they permit themselves to retire from the faith. So this is what I can say, and also planting the good seed and in good way in these people make the faith as living faith. If you see that many of Iraqi Christian people, they left their country because of all this long troubles that they had, not only ISIS, but before there was Qaeda and before there was many fighting between Iraq and Iran and all this. We see these communities in America, for example. They are big community with very deep faith. So the seed, it's not said that it has to be only in Iraq, but we are bringing this to other places, and we are very proud of our community in Europe, in America, living their faith and also protecting their identity, even if they are in other places, but the identity of Christianity, they are keeping it.
Thank you for being here and for sharing your stories.
Yeah, sure.
Hearing your presentation along with the recent election of Pope Leo gives us a great opportunity to reflect on the universal church. And so I'm wondering, being priests from outside the United States, studying in the United States, what can the universal church learn from the American church in your perspective? And then what can the American church learn from the church in Iraq and the church in Nigeria?
So you ask this for me, that I am shocked about the very beautiful, very nice faith that I really saw on campus of Steubenville. Really, I am learning from them. Not from the staff of the university or the friars, from the students. And I share always with Steve this experience that I am having after 17 years of priesthood. But I am learning from their experience and their faith. And maybe the people or the world was shocked about having American Pope. But for me, I think it is a sign that America and the Church, Catholic Church in America, deserve to say that we are also living faith here, we're living church here. What I am saying, what I am witnessing about the really good faith and good example of people that they are giving themselves for the mission, for the missionaries, is that a good sign. So you have to be proud, not because he is American, but proud of your church and proud of your prayer and proud of your faith and everything that you are presenting. So God is showing you this is a sign not only for America but also for all the Catholic Church in the world, because we started just mentioning some names, but Holy Spirit worked in this church and he picked the person that he knows very well how to read the situation, the signs of the situation, not only in the Catholic and Western Church, but also in the Oriental or Eastern Church, like in Nigeria, like he's a missionary, so he will know what is our suffering and what we need and how he can encourage us. In his meeting with the Oriental Church, it was last week, his speech was really something like he brought a spiritual joy for us as priests and as people, because the intention that he has to these churches is very strong. So yeah, we hope he will continue, he will do many good things, but I personally, I already see that there's many things that this Pope will do. He will change the reality, or he will change the situation of the Catholic Church in the world.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's so beautiful that you're asking this question, because the Nigerian Church, especially the Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria, is aware of the fact that there is much, especially in the area of catechesis. And that is why we are sent here, because we know you have all it takes to help us become better. And that is why 6 of us have been selected in Nigeria to come here and to be trained. So we are going to learn. We are learning a lot. But when I came in, while I was coming here, I had a different, when I was told was different, and what I made also is also different. Because coming to the Franciscan University, what I made there is it completely changed my perspectives of America. Because I saw a lot of young children, youth, they're engaged in missionary activities. They're traveling to Africa, they're traveling to the southern part of America, and they're also engaged in mission. And I also think Nigeria can also learn from you, especially where I see a lot of lay people studying theology and they're ready to go and do mission. In Nigeria, we don't have that. We don't have lay people studying theology, going for mission. And I think this is also another area that we can learn from you. Yeah, so there are so much we can learn from you, and I think there's also so much you can learn from us. Yeah, stay in the university, I see the youth in the church. But moving around the parishes, I saw the church is so empty, only the elderly in the church. So you saw one of our pictures where we see a lot of youths coming to the church, because that is the future of the church. So when you come to the church and the youth are not there, then it speaks a lot also about the future of the church in America. But I think in that area also you can also learn from us, because you have everything to make the faith work here. You have the capacity, you have everything to make the faith work here. But if it's not working, then you can learn from us in Nigeria also, that we don't have everything, but yet people are hanging on to the faith. And I think also with the gift of the Pope, being an American, also speaks a lot. And I think everybody is celebrating the Pope, because everybody is happy. When I go through the media, the responses from my country, everyone is happy. And it is our prayer that the presence of the Pope, Pope Leo XIV, will also be another defining moment for the American church also. Yeah, because he has done a lot in Peru. We want to see, because the Americans need to support him. Not financially, but they also have to support him by being missionaries, also by, a lot of churches have been sold out, a lot of churches are empty, they cannot maintain them. This is our heritage, and they are going away. We need to bring them back. I think the Pope has a lot to do in America also. There is so much engagement, there is so much he also needs to do in the world, because the world is facing a lot of criticism and every other thing. But we are also praying for him that he will stay fixed to the truth without compromising the truth. That is our prayers for him.
Fathers, again, thank you so much for sharing your testimony and your witness. It has been beautiful and powerful to hear. I'm curious, in what has it been experienced in your communities? How have you seen the persecution and the suffering inspire vocations? And in what way what have you done or had to do to help the souls that you shepherd stay away from hatred and despair in the midst of that persecution, and stay joyful and resilient, as you've mentioned, Father?
Yeah, I can compare our experience as church and people to the experience of the disciples of Jesus. In the first part of their life with Jesus Christ, they were happy of seeing many things and the powerful things that Jesus was doing between them, with them, and through them to others. So they were very happy, but they didn't have this experience of suffering. But after the next step with Jesus Christ, they were shocked, but for a short time. Then they regained the trust in Jesus and his word, and they started themselves working and giving the experience to others until we received now, and we are living it now. So our people, they had this faith but they were a little bit in rest, no? Like in the church, just practicing it, praying, etc. It was not asked from them to show signs of this faith, of this living faith. During ISIS coming, so they were really in front of this, oh, we neglect everything and we run, or we show this. Imagine people leaving their houses, walking, because they didn't have any other chance to take their cars or etc. So walking and praying rosary, walking and praying for their enemies, walking for and praying for these people that may God convert them. So they started in this time of suffering showing their faith. And also in the camps of refugees, they were helping each other, giving what they had, sharing what they had. And also, like, they were also encouraging the church to be steadfast and to do everything that to keep the faith and Christianity. So yeah, I think we walked, and we still have to walk in the same way of the cross, and we were very connected to the suffering of Jesus Christ. So now, at least in Iraq, we have this a little bit tranquility, and we are proud of this faith that we could maintain it, and we are also give it to our next generation. So yeah, this made us as church to be aware of our job as priests in the pastoral and spiritual fields, and also for the people to be more connected to the church. Thanks God.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I mean, it's so difficult to remove that hatred in the heart of people, especially when people, you have lost home, you have loved dear ones, like the picture we showed here, this blind woman. A lot of people have become handicapped because of these experiences. So it's actually very, very difficult. But I think the Nigerian church also, I know they come in my diocese, we are providing a lot of support for them, like psychological trauma support, where they come, have been visited, and then we have also NGOs moving around providing psychological support so that people can be able to forgive and let go and then keep on moving. And also the priests, the bishop, at different levels, we're also interacting in what we call inter-religious dialogue, where we are dialoguing with the Muslims. Why we need peace over violence, but it's still a process. Yeah, and again, the healing is also a process, because in Nigeria, especially where I'm coming from, the persecution is not only a violent persecution. There are other silent persecution taking place. I will give you an example, like when it comes to development. So I work in one of the parishes. We are providing healthcare, we are providing school to the community, but we had this road problem. So children were finding it very hard to cross this small stream to go to school, and then they are finding it very difficult to cross the stream to go to the small clinic that we are offering services. So when they were bringing roads to that place, they were doing some kind of development. And because we are Christians, we are the other part, they didn't do anything. They refused to fix the roads for us. We had to say like that. But they made all roads in the town. They did every place where the Muslims are. Roads were so good. And then where we are, no one fixed the road for us. And again, also when it comes to job opportunity, sometimes like when you go with the name and be a John Ferdinand, they say, oh, he's a Christian. He'll be denied opportunity here. So you see a lot of youths who have gone to colleges, they are finished, but then no jobs because they are Christians. And so the healing is something that is continuous. It's not something that's going to just take place today. It is something that the church continues every day to provide support and try to give meaning to the people. Yeah.
And just one quick thing to follow up on that, so we keep in our minds, especially in Nigeria, the importance of this problem. Nigeria is an incredibly young population. Sure. Over half their population is under the age of 18, and this is a country of more than 200 million people. So.
Fathers, we had an online viewer that just asked, very simply, how can we in the West be of help to you? I mean, we're individuals, most of us, but what is it that you ask of us the most?
Yeah, so there are two terms that it is ecclesiastical terms that recently Pope Francis, and the teaching of the church always focus on it, is the solidarity. And this doesn't mean only in material things, but solidarity in the humanity dimension, and also in spiritual. So we touched this. We got this experience from the Western Church in the time of ISIS, how much they were close to us spiritually, and how much they helped us, how much they encouraged us, and how much they showed that they are really our brothers in faith. And what united us is the name of Jesus Christ. So I just ask to continue like this, praying and being close to us and not neglecting our churches. They are suffering, but they don't want to be eliminated totally. And the second one, that the Jubilee year is speaking about the synodality. The synodality is showing the brotherhood that all the churches have and enjoy. The synodality is saying that we are one church. There's no difference between Oriental and Western Church. We are one church, and we have the same mission, and we have the same faith. So being as Western Church, being strong now in everything that you have, and also helping the Oriental Church, Oriental communities with what you have, sharing it. This means really the definition of the synodality. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Taking over from what Father Salah has said, solidarity is very important. And for us in Nigeria, I think there are three good areas, and I think you can assist us. One, the most important aspect is the fact that we need peace. Everyone wants to stay in his homeland, to flourish and to prosper. That is what we need. So we want you to assist us, campaign against this disaster, helping us to see how we can have broker peace in Nigeria, where everybody will live comfortably, where we see each other as humans. I've been to America, I see how people are living without so much discrimination because you are going to church, because you are not going to church. The society is protecting everyone. We want the government of Nigeria to protect everyone, because in Nigeria, the government of Nigeria said it has not adopted any religion as a national religion. Everyone is free to practice on religion, but yet it's not happening. So we want people to help us broker peace in Nigeria so that people can have that peace. And then secondly, we have people already who are in a bad spot, in a bad light. They have no home. Some are living in camps. Some are sick. And I think the Knights of Columbus have done so much. Recently, they have sent some relief for those who are handicapped. And I think support like this can also bring hope to show the Nigerians that, you are not in this alone. We are together with you. That's have a source of encouragement to them, and that can also give them back their life, and also they are going to be hopeful. So physical support, material support can go a long way in assisting these people to remain more focused and also see life meaningful. And then thirdly, I want to appreciate the Knights of Columbus also for supporting us to come here and to have this education. But I know when we go back home again, we need school, where we need to put this in place, bring people together so that we are going to train them. And so we need a support that can help us so that we can, this project that we have started cannot be, so that it is not going to be something that's going to start and then fall on the way, but something that's going to be sustainable for years and for the future generation to benefit from it. Thank you.
Other questions? Comments? Father John Ferdinand, Father Salar Kajo and Steve Rasha, we're indebted to you for the information that you've shared to help us to understand the circumstances. We pledge to you our prayers, especially for peace, our solidarity, our unity with you as Catholics and Christians. And through Steve and others, I guess our continued efforts at relief to give comfort where we can to our brother and sister Christians who suffer. And thank you for your perseverance. Thank you for your witness. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Clear?